Good afternoon, everybody. Back with another video today, and today I would like to talk about police reform because I saw in the news this morning that that our wonderful elected officials still can't come together and pass some sort of reform. And I'm gonna put this about 60-40 on the Democrats because they're the ones that that have the House. They're the ones that first to be able to pass it. But for some reason, neither side can come together and help us, especially the Democrats, though, because that's literally the platform they're standing on is police reform and, trying to do something about that, which I agree with 100%. Police are people that are put into a position to where they literally have the right and the ability to kill somebody, arrest somebody, change the outcome of someone's life forever. They should be held to the highest standard possible. And when they deviate from laws or those standards, they need to be held accountable to a higher standard as well. They need to end this bouncing around from, well, he was fired from this department so he can go to this department. No. That's some fucking bullshit. That's like having a child molester at one daycare and he's arrested and fired, but he goes and works at another fucking daycare. How does that make any fucking sense? How does that fix anything when you're just inserting a problem into some place instead of completely eliminating it at all? It's just ridiculous. I don't understand where the fucking logic is in that. That shit's just stupid. And the qualified immunity shit, that needs to end too. Just because you wear a badge and you are a police officer doesn't mean you're not accountable for your actions civilly on a personal level. You should be able to be sued for doing some stupid ass shit regardless of if you're a police officer or not, just like I would be. It's not right that you can't be. All that does is cost taxpayers more money because the cities have to fucking pay out these lawsuits when these cops do shit they're not supposed to and are found guilty. That's just ridiculous to me. But I just want to go over a couple of points that Democrats and Republicans are far apart on, and I want to give my own opinions on them. So I'm going to save this one for last. Okay, so let's say the Democrats would alter qualified immunity to allow victims of police brutality to seek damages. Republicans would not. Completely agree with the Democrats on this. It's ridiculous for the Republicans to even try to stand by this because why shouldn't they be held personally liable when a normal citizen is? They're held to a higher standard at everything else. Why shouldn't they be here? So they need to add that in definitely. That shit needs to go away. Okay, on here it's saying, okay, the Democrats make it easier to prosecute police officers for misconduct. Republicans call for de-escalation training for officers. Okay, there needs to be de-escalation training, absolutely. But they also need to be able to be prosecuted when they commit crimes. They're not above the fucking law just because they're supposed to be enforcing it. That's complete bullshit. And that says police officers are better than normal people because they're police officers. So they're allowed to break the law and not be held to the same standards that you and I would, which is completely fucking false and some bullshit. Okay, Democrats propose bans on no-knock warrants in federal drug cases, while Republican bill requires agencies report their use of no-knock warrants. Ending no-knock warrants is fucking stupid. There's a reason that there's no-knock warrants, and especially so far, so why there is so in drug cases. Because what do you think the motherfuckers are doing when you're knocking on the door trying to get in? They're dumping the fucking drugs and getting rid of them. So I have no problem with no-knock warrants if they're justified. If this is an active drug house and you need to get in there immediately so these fuckers don't have a chance to dump fucking drugs or grab fucking weapons, yeah, I support that wholeheartedly. But they also need to fucking, have good reasoning behind it. They can't just have a no-knock warrant for no reason. And then I agree with reporting the use of the no-knock warrants. So you can't ban them, which is that you can't ban no-knock warrants. It's just fucking stupid. There's no reason to ban no-knock warrants. Honestly, there's just not. I don't see a reason. If someone watching this disagrees, please leave a comment in the comment section and let me know why. Okay, let's see. Democrats' proposal calls for an end to racial bias in policing, while Republicans would create a training program and a commission. Okay, the subject of racial bias in policing. You know what? I don't even know how to address this or where to address this because I wouldn't actually say it's a problem. If you live in a community of mostly black people, or and you police in that community of someone mostly of any color, mostly predominantly white, predominantly Latin, predominantly black, predominantly whatever. Um, of course, you're going to have a propensity to stop people of a certain color if that's what's predominant in that neighborhood. I mean, if your neighborhood is 90% white people and you have a black police officer that patrols it, you can't say that black police officer is racist because most of the people he's stopping are white. That's literally all the people, that's literally the majority of the fucking people that live there. And vice versa, when you have a white cop that's working in a mostly black community or Hispanic, Latin community. How can you say that that cop is automatically racist because more of his stops are of people of color? What's the fucking majority of that fucking community? So the majority of the community is 90% black. And white cop stops, his stops are mostly of 90% of black people. What exactly is the problem? I don't understand. And don't you think police that work these communities constantly know who the fucking criminals are and aren't? Don't you think they've probably arrested them or dealt with them before or at least investigated them? I mean, wouldn't that make logical sense? You know, somebody that's worked the same, community, let's say 5, 10, 15 years. Don't you think he knows everybody in that community? Don't you think he knows who's a good person, who's a bad person? Don't you think he knows how to spot somebody that's up to some fuckery as opposed to somebody who's just walking down the street trying to get to where they're going? We have to have a little bit of confidence in police officers. I mean, we just do. You can't automatically assume that all of them are up to no good, that they're all fucking racist and they're all just out looking to get people of color. Because that's not fucking true. Statistics don't support that fact. And it's just not logical to say at all. That's just like if you have one teacher who's a child molester and you say, well, I think all teachers are out to molest children. How the fuck is that logical? That makes no fucking sense. You sound like a moron. Fuck out of here. Come on. Find logic. Okay. Now I'm going to go over the last point, which, well, we'll just get to it. Okay, so Democrats want to do away with chokeholds and similar maneuvers while Republicans are encouraging narrow restrictions. Now, this has to do with police going hands-on. My personal opinion on this is I think all police officers should have to train in jiu-jitsu and judo. Mostly jiu-jitsu, though. I've trained jiu-jitsu for many years, and when you have to go hands-on with somebody when you train jiu-jitsu, or you're trained in jiu-jitsu, it makes it so much easier to control that person. I'm not saying someone with a weapon, because I'm not trying to go hands-on with somebody with a knife or a gun with my bare hands. And anybody with half a brain is not going to fucking do that shit. Especially if you have a gun at your disposal. That would just be stupid. But for these fuckers that like to fight and, and wrestle around with the cops, if these cops were all trained, and actively trained at least 2 times a week in jiu-jitsu, they would properly know how to restrain somebody, even with a chokehold, and not hurt them or kill them. There's ways to do things where you can control someone's body, where you're not hurting them unless they're fighting you. Then if they're fighting you, then they end up hurt, that's on them. But I believe police need to be trained in how to properly use chokeholds. Do I believe you should put your knee in someone's neck? Absolutely not. In jiu-jitsu, you're never taught that because that can literally kill somebody. So that's why I think they should all train in jiu-jitsu. Why not? Start the training in the academy. Have them train at least 2 times a week for an hour or 2 a week. Plus, it'll keep them in good shape. They need to be in good shape. I mean, we're asking these people, to go out and face criminals and violence and danger every day. They should be in the best possible shape, and they should know the best way to handle themselves. So, and I love martial arts personally. All my sons have done martial arts. I've done martial arts. They're great. They're just good for you in general. So, yeah, I mean, let me know what you think in the comments. But like I said, yeah, train them all in jiu-jitsu and make them train their whole careers. And I guarantee you would see a lot of less of these fights escalating and guys getting away, because if somebody puts you in an arm lock or in a chokehold, they don't have to be choking you. You can control someone without choking them. Just because you put your arm around someone's neck and a choke, you're not choking them out. You may put a little pressure so that, you know, they feel you and know that you're there. And you know, you can let them know, hey, you need to stop or you're going to go to sleep. But there's ways to do things without injuring people. And if these officers were properly trained, there would be a lot less of this shit going on, honestly. And honestly, I think it would make the criminals think a second time to know, fuck, this dude's trained. If I try to go hands on, he's gonna fuck me up, and it's gonna be my fault. So that's what I think about the hands on shit. You have to let police go hands on. You can't, because if someone starts fighting them, what are they supposed to do? Walk away? How the fuck does that make any sense? So then now we're encouraging assault on police officers and more, you know, and more non-respect towards law enforcement when these are the people that literally are here to protect us. So let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe. Don't like. You know, I don't give a fuck. But everybody, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of the day. If I don't do another video later, I will definitely be doing 2 tomorrow. Everybody have a great evening, okay? Or a great afternoon and great evening. Thank you.